it can get extremely lonely sometimes. It's not a smooth road, but when it happens to you, for me, it happened to me. I wouldn't have chosen to be a single mom.
I saw a picture of a little girl and I said, oh, whose daughter is that? And then he said, that's my daughter. And then I laughed. And then he was serious. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then he said, oh, I have a child.
If you're a single parent as well, be open about the fact that you have children so that people know what they're going to have to deal with. They might go back to serve the cookie because they want to use it to get back.
What is cookie?
The way we handle things has a lot to do with the conditioning of our minds. Mm-hmm. So if you condition my mind to believe that it's just the two of us, and then all of a sudden you're not able to make time for me because you're going for PTA or you're doing this or your child, for instance, I'm at work or I go wherever and I meet somebody who likes me. It's not as though once you say, oh, hi, Nana, your hair is so beautiful. Oh, I have a son. No, I mean...
Welcome to another episode of Chat and Chuckles. Today we brought you another guest, a very beautiful guest. And we are going to talk about single parenthood, as in finding love as a single parent. There is this belief that if you're a single parent, you're already a red flag. So today we are going to dive into the subject. And let me introduce our guest, Nana, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So tell our audience about yourself, and then we can take it up from there.
Okay, so professionally, I'm a comms and PR person, but I do event moderation, MCing, I do voiceovers, I do translation from French and English as well.
Wow.
So yes.
Pardon le trebele c'est quoi?
Wow, that's nice.
Elle est toujours le pouvoir. I like French. I like how it rolls on your lips, like you are eating
So
French.
you are very fluent.
Yes.
Wow.
I actually work with French and English, so
Wow.
yeah.
That's
Feels very
impressive.
self.
So single parenting. We are starting from a story that I read on, it's on online. Or where did I even see it? On Facebook or somewhere, yes.
Okay.
A lady found a guy, and I thought the guy was interested in her, and the guy said, okay, let's start dating, or let's start something, and the guy accepted, and the guy said, oh, but I have kids, in case you want to know. And the girl was like, oh, that is beautiful, I also have kids. And the guy was like, you said? He said, I also have kids. I said, no, I'm not interested in a woman who have kids. You have kids, you want to date someone, but you don't like someone who have kids. How do we reconcile that? So is it problem with men to date a woman who has kids, or is a problem with women having? I don't know where the dynamics goes, but like, how do we reconcile that?
Well, the guy is crazy to start with. I mean, it's like you have a child and you think there's nothing wrong with you, but the fact that the woman also has a child is like a no for you. So I don't know. I don't want to refer to the child as baggage, but mostly that's what is termed. They'll be like, oh, you're coming into the relationship with baggage, and you don't accept my baggage. So like,
yeah. So
those are double standards, if you ask me. Because
yeah.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. This is a situation where your having kids weighs just as heavy as my having kids as well. So let's have a very open discussion about how to manage it, instead of it being mine being a redder flag than you having kids.
Yeah, that's insane.
So the argument also has to do with who is coming to the party with their kids. The guy, maybe his kids are not coming to the relationship. Maybe the mother of the kid is keeping the kids, but you will come with your kids. That is where maybe the problem is. How about that?
I would think that when the kids are rather in the relationship, it's the two of you with the kids together. If the father of the kids even happens to come to the house, you have your eyes in it. You know what is exactly happening when the father of the kids comes to the house. However, if your kids are outside of our relationship, it's very difficult for me to be able to tell what happens when you go there. So that should actually be lighter to carry than you vanishing to go there and come back. Who knows what happens when you go.
What if he's not going there? He's just sending money and all that. You know,
So that
when
his kids won't come to him.
So does
in
it
his
mean
new
he's
relationship.
not?
I don't know, but you know,
I mean,
guys, they have
But
a
no,
way
you
of
need
going
to be
around
a
it.
hands-on person.
It's-
But if you
yeah.
have your way around it, then the father of my children should also have his way around it. Maybe all he does is just to be responsible for his kids and not sure.
But is it the man who is the problem, or the father of the kids who is the problem, or the fact that you are having kids is the problem?
Listen, dating somebody or getting married to somebody who already has kids in itself is difficult, is a hard job. Look at it any way you want to look at it, but it gives you more work than dating single people coming together to date.
Yes.
Now you have children in the equation. If you don't have kids, you're going to all of a sudden be a parent because you're going to have to deal with children. It is already difficult, okay? You're going to have to put your children ahead of everything else. That's not to say that you love your partner any less, but these are children for which you have the burden of care. They are underage. They are not able to take decisions for themselves. They are not able to do what they need to do to keep themselves safe. And so you're going to have to do the job for them. That would put them any day, any time on top of your partner. Okay? So that is just what it is. I think that when it comes to dating single parents or you dating somebody who is a single parent, you need to understand that there's work to do. Lay the cards on the table. Just be open and transparent and have the conversations that must be had. And I think you should be good.
Yeah, but so why is it a red flag for you to date somebody?
Me personally, I wouldn't call it a red flag.
Or is it a deal breaker for you to date somebody who...
No, I really don't think so. But then again, I feel that if you can handle it as a person, why not?
You can handle it.
And I also believe also that, everybody deserves love, be it first time, second time, not because they have a child. That child probably is not even, I don't think we should even blame the child for spoiling something that could happen for both people. So that parent, or maybe that single parent, doesn't deserve love. Just because they have a child doesn't mean that they shouldn't have a chance at love or experience love again or relationship. So for me, it is not a deal breaker for me. I would date someone who has a child already.
Somebody who has a child, the father of the child is still in the picture, because definitely they have to come together to co-parent. Mm-hmm. You don't mind?
Well, then we have to have a conversation, a very clear conversation about boundaries and how we handle ourselves. You know, you can be a father. Your children can come to you. You don't really have to be in the house or be in my house or in my space to see your children. You can come and visit, but you have to now define your relationship with my woman. You get me? So if I see things that doesn't align with things that I would want my woman to have, which I see that it would destabilize our relationship, bro.
Yeah, there is this argument also about taking care of somebody's children. It comes with a lot of, how do you call it? There is this perceived disadvantages, or there is this perceived problems when it comes to taking care of children that are not your own. For instance, you are a father, you are married to a woman who has kids. How far can you go when it comes to disciplining of the kids, and when it comes to maybe they've done something wrong? What authority do you have over them to maybe punish them or prefer some corporal punishment to them?
That's why it's very, very true.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So I think that is why most men will try to shy away.
I know everybody will have their reasons.
Okay.
First of all, for a woman, women are more closer to children than men, and you disciplining their child, they have to be a way you go about it. First of all, me, I feel that again, we'll have conversation about that aspect as well. There are things that I will let you handle, but there are things I may let you handle.
Things like what?
Oh, there's maybe a child is being silly. I would try to address it by talking to the child. Maybe in our house, we don't beat children.
We don't give them.
We give them knock. We give them punishment, so grounding and little punishment to correct as a form of correctional measures. But so we will try a lot of things. That's why I'm saying that we'll have to be hands-on. If you don't agree with me dealing with the child or maybe disciplining the child in certain ways, you have to communicate that to me. Because I believe that love me, love my dog. If I love you, I should equally love your child because he or she is coming from you. And I would want the best for that child as well. So if I'm bringing that child up, I will do that as if he or she is my child. So if certain things I will do to correct the child doesn't align with how you want it to be done, we'll have a conversation about it. But if a lot of these things are giving us conflicts, I may have to walk as a person.
But have you ever dated someone with kid before? Kid or kids?
I don't want to say fortunately, but fortunately, unfortunately, I haven't.
You haven't?
I haven't.
He doesn't remember.
And
he's too young not to remember. He's too young not to remember.
I haven't, but I have seen people who have dated people who.
But have you had a chance that maybe you could have, but you didn't take it? Somebody had a child.
Looking back, I don't think I have had that chance yet. Maybe yet, but. Okay. I don't know what the future holds.
Okay. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
Did you date him?
I did. I didn't know he had a child. At the time we were talking and even at the beginning of the relationship.
You didn't ask questions?
I asked because he had this very promiscuous past. And so I used to ask him that.
You knew about the promiscuous past.
Yes.
And he said he's a changed person, or
yes, he was like he did all those things when he was very young, but now he's older, so he's ready to like be serious and settle down and all that. And I used to ask him that. So with all the things you've done, are you sure you don't have a child anywhere? He would say, oh no, I don't have a child. Are you sure you've impregnated someone that you're not aware of? No, I don't have a child. The lady he had a child with, at a point her issue came up in the relationship, and then he told me that they were done, but their families hadn't accepted the breakup. And so that is why it looks to people on the outside that they were still together. And I asked him that, so why hasn't the family accepted the breakup? What's keeping them holding together? Is there a child involved? At first he said yes. And then I said, how old is the child? He said 5 years. And I said, really? And then he laughed and said, no, I'm just kidding. There's no child.
Maybe they really was so really.
Maybe it was brilliant.
It was brilliant. So, wow, if I
gave himself away, he wouldn't have gotten the chance with you.
Yeah, I mean, he said, I was like, so, and the way he was, like, this guy is a very smooth talker, and, like, he's not someone you would think would lie to you, like, even the way he is, like, he looks like someone trustworthy, so.
Innocent son.
Yeah, I just said, okay, if you're sure. And being with someone with a child was not a deal breaker for me. I just needed to understand the nature of the relationship you have with the mother of your child. So I think that's like months into the relationship, but then I had fallen so in love. Aww. And then I even remember he had his computer, you know, the admin, you use your name.
Yeah,
and the name he used was not his name. I don't want to mention the name because that's a child's name. And then I asked him that, why is this name on your computer? And he said, oh, if I wasn't called this is what I would want to call myself.
Indeed, he's a smooth talker.
Smooth to break down.
Oh God. I think by then I was 20, 21. I was really young. He was my first love. So, yes. So I believed him, and then one day, like, we were going through his pictures. He's this IT person, so he was showing me pictures, and I saw a picture of a little girl, and I said, oh, whose daughter is that? And then he said, that's my daughter. And then I laughed. And then he was serious. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then he said, oh, I have a child. And then I thought he was joking. So I was like, are you always playing? He was like, no, for real, I have a child. And so we talked about it. I got angry because he didn't tell me from the beginning. And he kept saying that, are you angry I have a child? And I'm like, no, I'm angry he didn't tell me. No, that little girl was not his child.
The real child was somewhere.
Yeah.
So he just
was preparing the ground.
Yeah, the little girl was his cousin's child. So he was like, oh, that's actually Charles' daughter. His cousin is called Charles. And then he was like, this is my child. Well, I didn't mention his name. His child was a boy. His child was a boy. So he showed me, and that was the name I saw. He showed me pictures and all that. It was some way. He told me that, he didn't want the child to grow up and see me as a stepmother. So he wants me to bond with the child while he was still a baby. And that child was like barely 6 months old. He will bring the child around so that I can like spend time with him. We'll go out together with the child. We'll shop for the child together. Yeah, so
Charlie.
Last, he said that the girl's family said if he doesn't marry her, they will deny him access to his child. And so he told me he doesn't know what to choose. And I said, I choose your child. This one, there no questions asked. So and that was it.
You made it easier for him.
Yeah.
Are they married now?
Yeah, they are married.
But were you heartbroken?
I was devastated. Like, I was suicidal even because, like, he was, like, I used to say that my entire life, I never fancied marriage or anything until I met him, because I used to see men a certain way, and he was the kind of man who would cook for you, he would do laundry, like he was that man, like
the same type of
Simply 101.
You guys, yeah. So
it looks like you are lucky with guys, because one will buy wachi for you.
One will buy wachi, one will wash for you, one will do all that.
Oh yeah, he used to do all that. He would do my laundry.
So you didn't have problem with him having a child, but the way he went around.
Yeah, the fact that I didn't know, and then I entered and
all that. Nana.
Yes.
Have you had any experience of that nature?
Yes, I have.
First, is it a deal breaker for you?
No, it's not.
It's not a deal breaker for you.
What?
Even if the man brings the children home to live in the relationship, it's still not a deal breaker.
It's not a deal breaker for me. What is a deal breaker for me is how we go about it. Okay, or let me say, I would find the deal breakers from the conversations around how to handle the children, because raising children, living with them, is a heavy investment. You're having to raise somebody holistically. You're talking about emotionally, physically, psychologically. You're teaching them everything that you need to teach them whilst they're with you. You want to raise responsible adults, okay? And so for me, your energies, your principles, all of that must align. As far as you live together with the children, you need to make sure that your principles align, so that if you have to, for instance, discipline the children, it's the way both of us agree that children would have to be disciplined, whether they are mine or yours or ours. They would have to be disciplined the same way, not necessarily because they are mine or yours. You understand me? Yeah, so that is where my issues might arise from, and those are the conversations I would want to have right from the start. I'd want to know what the relationship is between you and your baby's, your children's mom. I would want to know how we're to raise these children together. I would want to know what level of involvement you would want me to have in the lives of the children. I would want to know all of those things. Those are hard discussions, but we need to have them.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. To me, it's also not a deal breaker. Yeah.
Sorry. So like when it comes to the whole discipline part, like, have you had an experience where a partner is disciplining your child and maybe you feel like the person is abusing your child?
You know, even with couples who live together and not divorced, they're mother and father together, when you don't have your energies or your principles aligned, you might find that one person's way or method of disciplining the child looks abusive in your eyes. That's one thing.
I always have that problem.
I can imagine. The other thing is that when you see somebody, like when you're watching somebody meting out whatever kind of punishment to another person, you watching, it might look a bit harsh to you. Okay, for instance, even if we have a little boy here, my son, and I decide to give him 2 slaps on the bum because he's done what he's not supposed to do, everybody around you, oh no, Nana, stop, because it looks harsh on the eye. Once it is not you doing it, I would not find it abusive, but any other person who is watching might find it abusive. That's one. There's the other aspect of things that you might, even in disciplining your children, you don't want to go beyond a certain threshold, okay? So I can understand that corporal punishment in schools now has been reduced or has been abolished and all. And that is because people go overboard. Like you're lashing the child to the point where the cane hits their eye, and that's permanent damage, okay? That is abusive. However, if you're able to keep the punishment or the discipline, I'd call it discipline, within acceptable or reasonable limits, then it should not be seen as abuse. So that's what I'm saying, that once you agree on how you want to discipline the children, I don't think that it would get abusive. For instance, if we agree that if you don't do your homework, then you're not maybe having tablet time or whatever. Your sleeping time is 8 p.m. Both of us have agreed on this. You sleep at 8. That's it. No discussions, no negotiations. If you decide to do something else and I tell you to go in at 7 p.m., we should both agree that, okay, this is some sort of discipline to get you to do what you're supposed to do. Discipline in itself is supposed to be corrective. Okay, so hit is not always the answer. Grant them sometimes, deprive them of some privileges sometimes, hold back some things from them sometimes, let them know why you're doing it, and afterwards, bring them back together, have a discussion, and I'm sure that you'd be able to achieve the purpose for which the discipline is being meted out.
Yeah, so I also get that question from a different point of view because, when, like you said, somebody is disciplining your kid, it's not easy to take. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, maybe you would have done worse if you were the one doing it. Yeah. You understand? Because maybe in the house, like when my wife is shouting at the kids, I'm like, well, you are too loud. this is not anything. You get it. But when it's my turn and I'm doing it, whether it's loud or something, you don't care.
That's the thing,
because kids have a way of getting to you. Yeah. So if you are not the one experiencing the problem, you might think maybe the punishment is that is where maybe the problem comes. Maybe if you are living with a partner whose child you are raising or those kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the question also comes to this: that do they have a point? All those people who feel like dating a single parent is a deal breaker, citing the issue as to, oh, I can't punish them. Oh, they come with a lot of baggage. Oh, I want to clean the financial burden because now I can't buy for my kids and then leave yours out, or I can't buy for myself and leave your kids out. And then the possibility of school fees. Am I going to sit there for her to pay the fees and all those kind of, all of these things, if you put them together, do they have a point when they say that, no, I don't want? It's not about loving somebody who has kids, but looking at other encumbrances that come with it. I'm staying out. Do they have a point?
Okay.
I think that it has to do with you and what works for you. And I think we shouldn't hold it against them when they say that I don't want a single parent. Maybe the person knows himself or herself. I have someone I know who once told me that she doesn't see herself ever becoming a stepmother because there's no way she will love another woman's child as her own.
Okay.
And so such a person, if she says no to a single father, we shouldn't hold it against her, because she will end up becoming a statistic. Those, my stepmother more treated me kind of thing. So it's better she doesn't even go into it at all. There are some people, they don't mind, and that's okay. I don't think there should be any shame in it if you say that this is not for me. We shouldn't try to make you look like, except in that crazy man's case, the one who has a child and said he doesn't want someone.
But yeah, but don't you think? Okay, let's go on.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
Nesta, for me, I think that people's, as to whether they have a point or not, I think it's what their experiences are or what they have seen. I mean, social media makes it very easy for you to live other people's lives or stuff like that. And even on Silent Beats, we've seen a lot of stories about, oh, my girl went back, and before I knew it, she and her ex were in bed, or my boyfriend went back, or even my husband went back, and before we knew it, he and his wife, his ex, were having another baby. You know, that kind of thing.
Old flames.
I think that those are the kind of things that make people say, see, I don't want to have to deal with this stress. Exactly. So let me just go clean. Me, you, together, that's it. Let's start our lives from there. But just like preferences, Nesta, some people like short people, some people like tall people, some people like people with heavy hips, some people like heavy boobs, some people like both. Preferences. If you think that personally you cannot handle the whole package of dating a single parent, I think you should just stay away from it. Be true to yourself and stay away from it. If you're a single parent as well, be open about the fact that you have children so that people know what they're going to have to deal with. Don't hide it until, like in Nayram's case, you've gotten so much in love, so you're going to have to manage to deal with the situation, you see. But say it up front. I have children. Okay. 2 boys. Are you able to handle them?
I was going to ask you that at what point should you tell someone you are in, like someone who is a love interest, that you have kids or you have a child?
In my opinion, it has to be, once you know that this is not a fling, you need to come clean. Once you know it's not a fling, of course, when somebody just meets you, maybe like meets you at work or something, and comes to say,
have a child.
I like your hair. Can we hang out this Saturday? Yes, we'll hang out. I mean, if I'm available, we'll hang out. That's not when I'm coming to tell you that I have a child or I have children, you see. Okay. But when it gets to the point where you say, I like you beyond going to the beach with you on a Saturday, let's have a relationship, then I would want to let you know everything I'm coming with.
So that means that during the talking stage, the first day, second day,
like your case, you asked the question explicitly. Once the question comes up, don't hide it. Okay. Because then you should know that it means something to the person. It is more like a deal breaker. I need to know. Give me the information. It would even help me to know whether I want to have a relationship with you or not. So tell me, do you have children? If the person asks you, then you should be as open about it as possible, because you want to see. I find that the way we handle things has a lot to do with the conditioning of our minds. So if you condition my mind to believe that it's just the two of us, and then all of a sudden you're not able to make time for me because you're going for PTA, or you're doing this, or your child put his finger in hot water, or you couldn't get a nanny to care for your child, so you can't step out. Once I'm having to deal with this, it's more like a deception. Like you're taking me out of cool waters and you're putting me in hot water. But if from the start I know that you have 2 children, I am already prepared for what it comes with. That if it is not a deal breaker for me, then I know that if I need to see Titan, it won't be every day, or we need to plan ahead so that Titan is able to. I don't have a child. Oh, I know. So the Titan is able to find someone to take care of the kids, or, you know, make all of those arrangements and be able to meet. Yes, that's what I think it should be.
Yeah, but you said something like, you have to, the talking stage you go through when the person makes it explicit that he wants you beyond. But don't you think that by the time you get to that point, a lot of, you know, because feelings develop.
Emotions
So now that I'm invested, because men, for instance, we don't just go out, we will drop cues and hear all those things.
So that's what I'm saying. If you see that this one is beyond...
Some of you too will pretend you don't even see it until we say it.
No, Nesta, relax.
Yes, I'm some of them. You don't say it,
I don't like implied proposal.
Yes,
no, I don't like implied proposal. But that said, like I'm saying, when you have children, you need to understand that it is a different ball game. If you're single, like you no children, then all of this, I mean, you just wait until the proposal lands, okay? But when you see, like, you call me every day.
Hold on.
Okay.
I want to ask you something, but I don't want you to speak in general terms. I want you to speak from personal experience. When you meet someone, like you are a parent, right? You're a single parent. So tell us about an experience. You meeting someone, a love interest. At what point did you mention that you had a child, and what was the person's reaction? Yes.
Okay. For me, my social media handles, at least, yes, all my social media handles have an appearance of my children.
Okay.
So certainly once you get there, you see my cover page on Facebook is myself and my older son.
Okay.
So once you get there, you see it's already there. It's not a thing I hide. Not at all. Mm-hmm. So if you are a love interest, I'd mention it. Chances are, even when my situation is quite peculiar, okay? I work in a school and I go to work with my son.
Oh.
So if, for instance, you tell me, let's meet up after work, I'll tell you I'm driving my son home. And so I'm not able to meet you after work. Unless, of course, you've told me in advance that I need to meet you. Let's have a drink on Wednesday. Then I'd arrange for somebody to pick up my son home, or I'll drop him off at home, and then we can have a drink on a Wednesday.
For you, even from the first date?
So like I said, if you ask me, I'll tell you. If the situation presents itself, I'll tell you. However, if, for instance, I'm at work or I go wherever and I meet somebody who likes me, it's not as though once you say, "Oh, hi, Nana, your hair is so beautiful. Oh, I have a son." No, it won't work like that. You understand? Yes. Okay. But once it becomes like, you call me every day to check up on me, or not every day, even if it is twice a week, it's regular. I know that it's not just a fling, it's not just a one-off thing. I'll mention it so that when you are investing your emotions, you know what you're investing yourself in.
So my next question is, at what stage do you introduce someone you are seeing to your children?
That one takes forever for me. That one takes forever for me. Honestly, it's, you see, we think that children, we underestimate the power of the brains of children. Mm-hmm. Okay. So already they know that you and their father or you and their mother are not together anymore. All of that takes a toll on them. And so having to introduce someone to them, and trust me, the way that with the kind of pepper men are serving us these days, having to introduce a man to your child every 3 months does not do well for their psyche. Yeah. So you would want to be, of course, I know it doesn't mean that the one you're introducing to him is going to stay, okay? But if you want to introduce someone to your child, it should be someone that you're very sure of. I know they can still show you Pepe after 5 years. It's fine. But you want to know.
But then the children might have grown.
You know, exactly. You see, and
So they can deal with it well.
You know that women show pepper.
Women, they don't show pepper.
Oh no, we do too. I mean,
Wait,
yes,
so
but
have you ever had a situation where maybe you introduce someone to your child and then the relationship ended? Like how the child coping and all that? How did you deal with it?
again, like I said, we underestimate the power of the brain of children. Give them information with a language they can understand, and they will understand. But don't make it too rampant. Okay, like every 3 months,
They're changing.
It's Kojo, Kwame, okay, Kofi, another Kojo,
They can't keep up.
which Kojo, like, you know, like, then they start to form impressions about you, even, because then they're growing and they are beginning to understand a bit more, like, why is my mom like this? Sorry,
It actually will rub off on how they perceive life moving forward when they grow.
Exactly. So if you're sure that this thing is going to run for a while, it's not a fling, it's not a short-term thing, it's not.
But
just,
even that, isn't that a conversation you two should have? You two, I mean, you and the person that you are dating, that, okay, I'm introducing, or this is the time I want to introduce you to my kids. But introducing you to my kids, this is what it means to me to introduce you to my kids.
Yeah, you should.
So that the person will understand that, you know, it means a lot to you to introduce him to. And that will even go on to contribute to the fact that you value the person that much for you to introduce him to your kid, because you don't like a situation like we are saying today is Kojo goes and then Ajua comes and your son says, but where is Kojo? You are coming to explain all that.
Kokune also.
They are coming to explain. Yeah. So I feel like it's also a conversation that should fact, because you can't, if I introduce, maybe in my mind, I'm not in it for the long haul, right? And you are, maybe you've gathered some information and other things that makes you feel like I'm going to stay for that long. And because of that, you are relying on that information to introduce me to your kids. So at that moment that you tell me, oh, we've gotten to a time that I want to introduce you to, if I have any opinion as to, okay, I don't want to meet your kids now,
Let's hold it off.
Let's hold it
later.
off. And that is also an information that I'm passing to you. But knowing Shege, other people they won't even tell you.
One thing I noticed about some men, and I don't know, when they realize that you're a single mother, all of a sudden they start referring to your child as their child. And I feel like it's just some psychological thing to try and, how is my son doing? Like, you're not his father. Like,
At least not yet. At least
like,
not
but
yet.
I think
you're not even in a relationship.
Yeah,
that is a cue.
You started talking to me and you know I have a child, so, how is my child? Like, the moment you start, like, for me,
No, but
I mean, it's part of the
it
chase.
turns me off.
It's
like,
a part of the chase.
I feel like you are being cheesy.
It's part of the chase, because
that's how you will see it. Someone might not see that. Someone might
say
this guy
you
means well.
means well,
And my
kids and all that.
girl.
No,
it's a
Generally,
strategy.
no. Generally, no. For me, it's more like you just want to. It's like you're putting your foot in the door without really being invited. You can ask me about my child, but don't make it like, how's my child? You know his name.
Let me come home and play with
How
you.
is Kofi? How is Yao? That's okay.
Nayram, this one there's experience.
Let me come home and play with you.
When he said it's experience, it's experience. Oh no, that's what I say. It's part of the chase. It's part of the. Men, when they want you, they will always go extra mile. So knowing that you have kids and knowing how women are attached to their kids, they want to lean the ladder on the kid to get to you. And so they will go
some
like,
mean well, some don't.
Yeah, some mean well, some
I
also
feel like if somebody means well, they won't start by doing all that.
But others,
it's quite unfortunate.
Others also like it.
The way we communicate very differently. You understand? So maybe him even speaking to you like that, he's not realized that he's being cheesy.
But if someone does that to you, how would you?
I don't like it. I've actually told somebody before that I think it would be better if you just ask his name. Like, how is his name doing until later?
Exactly.
Like, until later when you have a relationship with him and all of that. So you can ask me, how is he doing? Like with his name, of course. How is Yao doing? How is Kwesi doing?
Yeah.
That's okay. That also shows that you care about the child. You don't necessarily.
Yes,
need
That's
to
what I'm
find
saying.
out
It's
where
part
the-
of the chase. It's part
Yeah,
of the
so
chase.
that's-
Some men will use it and it works for them.
Has
It
he
works.
missed me?
Yeah. Then when they are coming, they will come with a toy. When they are
Like
coming, they
your
will come
issue
with
is so peculiar.
No, it's like different.
No, Titan, will you say that?
different
You
things
ask if
from-
he's missed you or something.
Different
But
different
I doubt with him.
If I have seen him before, I can easily ask, how is the little man doing? Or how is the your girl doing?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a stage.
gradual.
Yes,
know,
it's
so we
gradual.
progress.
When I'm
You
coming, I
find-
come
Yeah.
with chocolate. When the
Exactly.
next time I come with a ball. Oh, how is he doing with my ball? I mean, guys, your ball. I didn't say balls. I said ball.
It's about children, guys.
Ball. I said, how is he doing with the
With
ball?
your
I
ball.
was-
Interesting.
Yeah, so you can ask some of
my
these
goodness.
questions. And then me, like Nayram is saying, some men are, you know, they want to be smart, but they don't know that women are smarter. You understand? Because you can't go all out right from the initial stage, calling somebody.
Yeah.
You've not even
Yeah,
met
you've
the
You've
child.
not got game if you start that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Dating.
Oh, how is my
I
son?
mean, for me, I would steer the communication in a direction
I think
that
that's the right
I
approach.
think is more comfortable for me, especially if I like you.
Okay, that is if you like
If
them.
I like
I
you,
don't know where
or
you do
if
that, I don't like you.
okay, so no, let me put it this: if I don't hate you, and I'm
Yeah,
willing,
let's
to,
say you are being polite.
and I'm willing to see how it goes, then I'll steer the conversation in a direction that I think is more comfortable to me.
So what if you don't like the person, or you
Or if I don't like the person,
Point blank.
I won't even get there for you to ask me how my son is doing. Like, I'm not answering your calls, I'm not replying your texts. So we won't even get there.
And he refuses to get the message.
And then I'll tell you, he's not your son.
Yeah, so the verdict out there now is, I mean, when you look at social media conversations and everything, it looks like it's hard for single parents, let me be specific, single mothers to find partners. Is that the case? I mean,
Yes.
from your experience,
Yes.
do you get men approaching you and then to a certain point that, okay, they approach you, you accept, and immediately they get to know that you have a kid, they move away? I mean, what is the situation like?
So I
Okay, so let's separate the two. You as a person, you are beautiful. Definitely, you don't go walking around in the market that you have a kid here. So nobody will know.
Yeah.
So they get to you, they approach you, and now everything is nice. And then they get to know, the second stage, they get to know that you have a kid. What is the reaction like?
Okay, so first thing, I have experienced a bit of both worlds. Okay, I have started the talking stage with someone who, I think the minute he found out that I had a child, it was like a deal breaker for him, and so the whole communication ended. It wasn't so much of a shock to me. So
He didn't call, he didn't text. I mean, how did it end? Just like that?
yeah, and then when you text him, he's slow to things and all of that, and then later he's like, "Oh, me Nampo, it's not like I really wanted a relationship and that kind of thing." But you know that it happened just after you mentioned that, "Hey, listen, I have a son."
Yeah.
You know, and then I've also been with people who knew that I had a son, and yet they were okay. I mean,
I
other
mean,
things
right from
contribute-
the start, they knew.
Yes, like I said, me on my Facebook, you see him there. You see my older son there. So it's not a fact I hide. I mean, that's just it for me. Except that, of course, like you said, it's not a label I wear either, but I don't hide it. So if you decide to, people would normally check your socials to find out, who is this person I'm going to be with and stuff. So you would have seen him there already.
Does your child look like you?
Some say he does.
Because
But I don't
I'm
see-
thinking you could be around children or be around a child, but he or she is probably not yours.
That
I
one.
So you-
absolutely
until you
understand
actually
that.
confirm it
I
to
was
the
even
person.
going to talk about that. I had a situation where this person had checked my socials but did not mention what he saw there.
Okay.
He just spoke about the fact that, oh, you write so well, oh, you do this so well, I like how you express yourself and stuff like that. But he didn't touch on the fact that I saw you have a child on your cover page. Who is he? He didn't go to that. But along the line, we had conversations where he mentioned, I think we needed to hang out or something, and he asked me whether I had made arrangements for my son. And I said I was in the process of doing that, but it wasn't a problem. We would be able to hang out. Then I asked him, how did you know I have a son? Then he said, oh, I saw it on Facebook. But I threw it in, like I just asked you whether you had made arrangements so that I know whether he's your son or not. I mean, instead of asking the one I saw on your Facebook, is your son?
That is
you know,
smart guy.
That's
Smart space.
yeah.
That's
So that's it. And I told him, yeah, he's my son, and I've made arrangements for him. My mom will take care of him while I'm away. That's it.
And how was his reaction?
No, it was
Because now you've confirmed
honestly,
to him.
it was not. It did sound like it was a deal breaker.
Okay.
And it ran for. I mean, the relationship ran for a while. Like it ran for
ran its
a long
course.
time. Other things,
Did you introduce him to your child?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Other things, I mean, accounted for our breakup, but it was
wasn't about-
not. No, it was
Yeah.
not about.
No, so
No.
okay. And how did you deal with it when he stopped coming around?
Of course, I had to communicate.
To
How did he
the
take
boy.
Yes.
Did he cry? Like, sometimes.
He didn't
Well, sometimes
cry.
it
When I
builds
see
a
him,
bond.
I feel like they
So that's what I'm
bond
going
with
to.
the person.
They didn't have a relationship.
Okay.
It wasn't as though
Okay.
the two of them could hang out alone. No.
Okay.
I mean, once in a while, we are going to the restaurant. Let's have a meal together. So it's just like all of us at the restaurant.
Okay.
So that's it. They didn't have a relationship where he's now going to have to detach.
Okay.
For him, it was more like, okay, mom's boyfriend
friend,
is
yeah.
not coming here anymore.
And case closed.
That's
Life
it.
goes on.
Yeah. And my first son he's quite old. He understands. Okay, so he's not old. He's at the age where he understands some of these things. So if you're able to explain it to him, he understands it better. He's not 3 or 4 or 5 where they're building their own imaginations.
He's 7,
and so
8.
Yeah.
He's 10. He's going on 11. So you can have some of these discussions with him. And yes, he
So from your experience, it's not hard the way people are seeing it on social media when some plenty
So the
discussions.
thing that I
Of
believe
communication.
is that I was talking to someone not in a romance, just friends, and then he posted something about never date a single mother, and then I asked him that why all this, and then he said, oh, single mothers always go back to sleep with their baby daddies, and I said it's not always the case, and he said he has been with not more than one single mother, and what ended the relationship was that they ended up like
back.
cheating.
Going back,
No,
yeah.
they didn't even go back. They cheated on him with the father of the child. That the man would say, "I'm coming to visit my child," and then the next thing you know, they are
Until
doing.
He's coming
together.
to do the thing, rather.
Yeah, and like that is like a belief. Like people say that a lot, and when you tell them it's not always the case, they don't want to accept it.
Yeah. So that is also what is what is also fueling the
I
conversation.
spoke about the fact that it's just what people have experienced or what they've been exposed to.
Yeah.
I think that if we want to
Well,
change
and
the
sometimes too,
narrative,
it's not even experience; it's what they keep hearing. You know, you can
that's what I'm saying.
hear a lot of
Exposure to
lies.
it.
Yes,
And you see, even on social media, you find all the stories of bad marriages and this woman, my wife did this, my husband did this, we ended up in divorce, etc. But there are good marriages out there, except that they don't publish them on social media.
Yeah.
You see, it's the same thing. I know of people who've married people who had children. In fact, I have children, you have children, we get married, we have a blended family, and life goes on, you know. I know people who are succeeding at it because they've been open about it, they've been transparent about it, and yes, let's do this. I mean, we love each other, we share the same principles, or at least we're able to find a middle ground to do this, so let's do it. If we want to change the narrative, then I think that we also need to do better I mean, when I say we, I'm referring to we as a woman. We need to do better, because unfortunately, we live in a society that does not exactly favor women. So I mean, when it comes to marriage, relationships, and these things, and especially women who have children, okay, so you would want to do right by yourself, okay? If it didn't work between you and your baby daddy or your ex-husband or ex-boyfriend or whatever, then you need to remind yourself of why it didn't work out and determine to create boundaries, okay, so that you're not having to deal with, being in another relationship and bleeding on someone who didn't cut you. You see, when you do that, it does not only harm yourself, but it sets the precedence for other people, other relationships as well. Yeah. Mind you, people become single parents for varied reasons. It could be because their partner died. Exactly. It could be out of divorce. It could be because they were raped. It could be for whatever reason. So when you have the opportunity, I don't think that you should make it difficult for other people to also have that opportunity as well. Do what you need to do. Set the boundaries, okay? And make it so transparent that your new partner is comfortable.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to look over his shoulder.
Some men, their main reason is because they feel that if you have to be with a woman who already have a child, you will be competing with the woman's attention and love and care. They say that the woman always put the child first before you. And some men can't handle that.
Which should be the case. I mean...
Yeah, but like I said, it's the fact that I put the child first is not because I don't love you. Yeah. It's because I have the burden of care for the child.
It's a child.
You see, and it is the same, even if the child is not my biological child. Like I said, I work in a school. If I have to take care of a child in the school because their parents are not there, I would weigh that over that you as my boyfriend.
Even outside, that is the situation. Like, wherever you go, children first, and then women follow, and then men follow. You can take care of yourself. You can take care of yourself.
Why would you want to compete with the child?
And then you see they're growing. This is when their minds are developing and all of that. You don't want to make them feel unloved, uncared for,
like they come second place.
Exactly. So, and trust me, you can replace a partner.
And then also, like you said, women who are single parents are supposed to do better. But men, they are also supposed to do better. Because I don't know why you've broken up with somebody. Something happened. You don't like the person. And so why would you leave the person's life for whatever reason that was valid to you that you left? That is fine. But why would you hang around in the shadow thinking that, okay, I can manipulate the person's emotion because you've had a thing before and then be hitting and then it doesn't even serve you.
But that actually goes both ways.
So men have
to both ways. Women also
women have to be women have to be wise. So it has to do with men. They are the people who always, and I will say they are the people who always, because women also sometimes go back. But whatever it is, if you say it's over, I don't know who you said it's over or the woman, whatever it is, it's over. You have a link or a thread that runs through you.
That brings
you have to have a conversation, draw boundaries and all that. Don't rely on or don't take advantage of the woman's vulnerability and then go back to
the man's vulnerability.
The man's vulnerability.
Trust me, there are some women who use that to get through to the men again.
I do understand.
But you see, if it's
but she has tackled that already.
Do that to the baby daddy.
Of course they do.
Oh, okay.
Like they want to get back,
especially when they realize that.
But you see,
when they realize that you're in a new relationship.
Yes, but that's not in a situation where they also have found a relationship where they are comfortable.
For me, I know one that exists.
Like she's happy in her relationship.
Even when they are married, they still want to go and hit. Even when they are married, they still want to go.
Must have been very good, because
once we are done, we are done.
Yes, for me, once we are done, we are done.
Like there's nothing. There's no temptation.
I mean, not all women. Definitely. Some of them they are mature.
Maybe. I mean, if you say that, they might go back to serve the cookie because they they want to
is
use
cookie?
it to get back.
What is cookie?
Okay, so if you say that they might go back to seduce their exes because they want to use it to get back to them, like get back to the relationship, then I can understand. But if I have a relationship already, that one,
I don't know, but there's this thing. I know this young, very beautiful, had a baby with this guy. The guy refused to marry her and all that. She wouldn't let go. The fact that she has a child with him, she says that she doesn't want to have kids with different friends. So she actually told the guy that all her children, he will be the father. She wouldn't let go. The guy moved on, found a new girlfriend. This girl was nosy. What are they doing when they are fighting? Like whether they traveled for a trip, all that. Now the guy is married. She won't meet anyone. You try to tell her to move on, and she says she doesn't want any man. He's the one she wants.
So that's what I'm saying. She's using it to get to the man.
Yes,
but
it's like
imagine that she had gotten herself her Prince Charming.
She doesn't want.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I have a child with you.
I totally understand that. That's what I'm saying. That she's getting back to him. She's trying to seduce him because she wants him. That's it.
Yeah, so
but if she wants somebody else,
it's him and nobody else.
Yes, and one thing I'd want to talk about is the fact that as a single mother, and I can speak to mother because I'm female, but as a single mother, I think that you need to more like empower yourself to the point where you're not having to rely on every single man that comes into your life to take care of your children.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is also
okay. So it shouldn't be that. You shouldn't let the man or the man who is coming into your life feel as if he's going to have to be burdened or saddled with the financial responsibility of children or a child that is not his. Okay. So yes, you're already doing it. You're already taking care of your child, whether with your baby daddy or by yourself. You're already doing it anyway. So your new partner should, don't give him that burden. Don't let him feel like this is yours as well. You're going to have to be saddled with fees and with everything else,
So, which means that you wouldn't want someone you are dating to try and take care of your children financially for you?
If he wants to, for instance, he wants to pay for us to go on a trip, or he's taking us to dinner and he wants to pay for it, I won't fight it, you see, but it won't be an expectation of me.
If he never, let's say you dated for 3 years and in the 3-year period, he never attempted to make any financial, not even like buy the children gifts or nothing. Like, would you find it problematic?
If a man who is able to do that would mean that you yourself, as the woman he's dating, he's not being generous to you either. So if generosity, you're big on generosity in your man, then already you don't want to pursue the relationship. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, as women or as single parents, single mothers, you shouldn't have to feel like, as far as Nesta is coming into my life, Nesta would have to know that now he doesn't have.
I'm married.
I know Nesta.
Use me as an example.
Okay. As far as Titan is coming into my life, I don't have to put a line item on Titan's budget to say that now Titan, I have a child with you. So by inference, you have a child as well. So whatever amount of money you earn at the end of the month,
anyway. So
I do too. Whatever amount of money you earn at the end of the month, just know that the child's school fees is part of it. Yeah. No, that one. Those are expenses that you were taking care of by yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So continue with that. If he decides to chime in, why not? But if he doesn't,
it shouldn't be an issue.
It shouldn't be an issue.
So let's also talk about the conditioning that makes women think being a single mom is the worst thing that can happen to a woman. Because we live in a society whereby we call children a blessing until a single mother has it. Mm-hmm. You get it, and then everybody is looking at you in a certain way. Yeah. So how are we even when a lady or a girl child is pregnant and then the man is not in the way, now they are in a position where should I have it or should I not have it, because I don't want to end up, if I have a child now, getting married will be very difficult for me and all that. How do we also educate these people to come to terms that, I mean, being a single mom, it's not a choice that you made, but it's the circumstances that made you, so it is fine if the circumstance places you in that situation. How do we do that?
Well, I would say that, first of all, it depends on who they listen to.
Okay.
Right? I think there was a time I was in the hospital with my son and I was on the phone with a friend, and then she told me that, if she gets to 35 and she's not married, she'll have a child. And I told her that, honestly, based on my experience as a single mom, I would never advise anyone to be a single mother, because it's not a joke. And for me, mostly was because my son didn't have his father present in his life. It used to hurt me a lot. There are times where I'll even be like, I'm going to be apologizing to this child for the rest of his life that his father is not present for him. And so when I think about it, I wouldn't want someone I care about to go through the same thing. It can really take a toll on you.
Yeah. I've
lost friendships. I did lose some of the friendships were rekindled after the passing of my child. Like, the way, even the people that you see that, this person is very liberal, very open-minded, the utterances they will make. Somebody once called my child a burden, a shame, like when I was pregnant. And some people were even saying, friends were like, I can't believe that you are so okay with this.
What the?
Fucking shut up. Because I didn't come to you moping. And the painful part was that I wasn't seeing me being pregnant, I wasn't seeing this as a shame or a bad thing or anything. It was something I wanted and I wanted to keep. But then everybody kept acting as if I was terminal. Right? Like they were, I was like, is it a death sentence? And it was very confusing for me. And I had to actually go through it to know that, so this is actually why people shy away from single motherhood. The kind of treatment, the things people will say to you, if you belong to a religious body, that one too is something, the family you come from, and all that, like the pressure. And someone even said, if you go to the hospital for weighing with your child and you're not wearing a ring, the way they treat you is different from if you are wearing a ring.
And you go for weighing with your man or with a man,
yes,
they give you preferential treatment.
That one too is there.
The man for rent.
Yeah. And then the man
man for rent.
Then someone should come and rent me.
Yeah, man for rent.
So, like, you wouldn't really, we all think, we are okay with single moms until you are one.
You are one, yeah.
And then you get to see, Charlie, it's wow. So for me, I always say that it's choices. Mm-hmm. If you choose that this is what you want, be ready. Like, you must have a skin as thick as maybe a crocodile's. Nothing should get to you. If not, you'll be demoralized all the time. And it can get very lonely. Like, there are things that you want to talk about, but then
there's no one to.
The people in your life, they don't relate. Yeah. And then the person you have the child with, you don't even have that relationship to have that conversation. It's not for the weak.
Yeah.
Just imagine at dawn that your child is sick. You would need a hand and nobody's around.
Yeah. You have to throw the child into the back seat or strap them in. And I mean, I've done that a number of times.
You have a car.
I know that. And have to drive them through the night.
You have a car.
Yeah.
You also be dog.
I know.
Oh my God.
Imagine you having to call Bolt or getting a taxi. You don't even know whether this person who is coming, I mean, how dangerous are they? That kind of thing. I can totally understand that. You need a tough skin. No two ways about it. And you see, as a parent, even whether you're still married or not, there's always your inner critic playing games on you. There's always that thing about whether you're doing a good job or not. And so if you have a partner who is able to let you understand, see, you're doing amazing. Children will be children, kids will be kids, okay? So you're doing well, you're doing your job and all of that. When that time comes when you crumble, I mean, somebody is able to help you to, get out of the ashes. But when it is just you, and like 247, 365 is just you with your child or your children, when you get criticized by your own self, can get daunting. I mean, that's where the loneliness aspect of things comes in. It can get extremely lonely sometimes. It's not a smooth road, but when it happens to you, for me, it happened to me. I wouldn't have chosen to be a single mom, but it happened to me. I had to quickly reorient myself and just like move with it. I've cried, I've laughed, I've run, I've walked, but hey, we're still going on. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can hardly even imagine what people like that are going through. But then I think that Nayram rightly said that the people you talk to, I believe that every individual out there who is a single parent need to have a conscious effort to belong to a community of people around them, be it family members or maybe friends who can actually be your support system. That will actually even help you even accept your situation more and try to live life again by caring for yourself and maybe the child you have and looking forward to living life happily again. So support system is very, very critical in those. So people who are not having support system, their situation is really, really crazy. That's why you find some people going to leave their children somewhere and running away because they feel that because of that child, their life is some way, which is very, very sad. So support system is really important.
And I also want to lean kind of something on what Nana said, that if you're a single parent, you have to get something going for yourself. It's the reason why most single mothers suffer, because if you don't have anything, because I've seen some post on social media that people are using their state as a single mother to beg for something. That is so, I don't know how true that is, but it's a situation no woman should find herself in. So if you are a single parent, you have to find something going so that you wouldn't be at the mercy of the man who impregnated you. I mean, that is the reason why you go back.
The mercy of the man who impregnated you, and also at the mercy of
that man, yes.
Because you see, yes, men will come into your life and all of that, but your being able to maintain limits or boundaries for them is also dependent on the fact that you call the shots in your family as well. But if they call the shots, then
you'll be forced to do things you wouldn't want to do.
You'll be surprised. You would be married to a man who would be raping your daughter, and you can't say because he's the one calling the shots. But if it is you calling the shots, then you are able to protect your children with your might. Even if it means taking them to, Saito or whatever, it is within your means. You are able to give them, you are able to protect them. Otherwise, trust me, and then when you are not able to also cater for them, then you expose them to all the vices. So your son is now having to, at maybe 12 or something, do things that will help him to cope. And then they get into the wrong company, and it can get messy really quick. So
you should get something going in there.
Like Titan said, you do things you don't want to do. Maybe if you want to date, you just want to focus on your children.
Just because maybe this man will support you in a way, you want to give you the shot, but you are not ready.
You are not ready. You don't even have the time.
The single moms who are not finding men to date because the kind of men they've met think that being a single mom is, the worst thing that can happen to. Please, men are not the price.
They are not worth it, too.
Men are not.
You have given her points too.
No, because but why would I even have
it all comes to if you have something going for yourself, then you don't see men as the price. But immediately your hand is at your back, you don't have anything good, then it means you are forced to find a man who will come into your life to cater for you so that a little bit will drop into the hand of your kid.
But see, to be fair, I don't think that it just has to do with provision, okay? I think that we live in a very religious society. We live in a very religious society. So whether you're a Muslim or you're a Christian or whatever religious affiliation that you have, you don't want to be the one who is, satisfying your sexual urges with someone that you're not married to. Okay, and that is why at a certain point in time, you just say, hey, yes, let me get married, or let me get into a stable relationship so that I can, get that done. And
some are even just okay with using toys. They don't want
exactly.
Religiously,
it's also not.
It's also not what it is allowed.
Yeah, so that's just what.
Just find a man.
And the thing too is that the society will just keep pressuring you that your child needs a sibling, so hurry up and find someone and settle down. Like,
don't mind society.
See, they will come and help you take care of
society.
Society is us.
It's like someone forcing you, go and marry. Then you come and help you marry.
Do anything.
When it comes to demands of society, it never ends. It never ever ends. You are married, there is something else. After kids, there is something else.
If you're not married, there's
even when you die, before you are lowered after you, there is a demand on you. And you see your family members at your casket. Hey, as you are going, be careful. Drop out some lotto numbers. Send us protection. Even when you are dead, there is expectation on you. So when it comes to expectations of society, it never ends. So if you try to lean yourself towards whatever they are asking of you, whatever is expected of you, then you will never live your life. You get it. So, like we are all saying, if you need a man, and then because of situation, the kind of men that you are meeting are finding you as a red flag, you don't have to pressure yourself or put yourself in a situation whereby by all means I have to get a man, and then they will tell you they don't want you, and still you will push yourself on them, and at that point, because they didn't want you and you wanted them, they can treat you anyhow. And nobody is supposed to find themselves that way.
Somewhere, right? They were like, it first started with the best time to enjoy a man is when he's chasing you. They don't come any better than that. And someone responded, the best time to enjoy a woman is when she's a single mother and ready to settle for less.
You get it.
They don't come any better than that. And I was like, no.
Such an insult.
This is not right.
No, but on the contrary, I think that when you're a single mother, your standards are a bit higher, or your requirements, let me say so, are a bit higher, because you're not just looking for somebody to love you.
Anybody.
But you're looking for somebody who's going to act in the best interest of your
child. But it becomes higher when you are stable.
That's
and
the
you are
thing.
not going to rely on whoever is coming.
That's the thing.
Other than that, you fall for anything.
That's the thing.
You're right.
Anyway, so
it depends on what you want out of life. Anyway.
So all too soon, I was really enjoying the conversation.
Well, you want to say more?
Yeah, but
we'll have that discussion back door.
Yeah, all too soon. We have to close the chapter on this episode, and it was really nice to have Nana. She really is a PR and comms person. Thank you for joining us, and if you like this video, don't forget to join the discussion in the comment section. Share with your friends. Let's get talking. And yes, single mothers are not red flags.
Also, you can listen to us on Apple Podcast and then Spotify. And Audio Mac. If audio is your turn and you can't stand our faces and you want to do it, you want to do it without our faces, that is where you go to. If you are watching us on YouTube, kindly subscribe and also share and invite others to come and enjoy the conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Au revoir.